Hello, my name is Peter Parfit. Welcome to New Brit Workshop. Got a very simple project for you. If you're getting the Parf Guide System, or perhaps have even taken delivery, you might want to put it into a nice little box, maybe go over the top a bit and do something like that. It's quite useful because it has a drawer at this end. If I pull this out, you can probably see that in here I've got the 3mm pins, the 3mm drill guide. Under here is a pull-out piece. I pull this out carefully. You'll see there I've got the 20mm bit and also a 3mm bit just there. That slips in nice and carefully. And there's space here for all your various dogs. That's that end. That's held in place by a magnet. And then at this end we have a very simple pull-off piece here. And in here you've got the 20mm drill guide and the two Parf sticks. Right, I've tried to lay this out so you can see the various components. I've got the 20mm drill guide in there at the moment, but I'm just going to take it out so that it doesn't complicate the issue too much. So that's it out of there. Now the way that this is made is very simple. I've got here a piece of plywood which I've cut to the dimension here, which is 42mm, and then I've trimmed to allow these bronze bushing to go in. So that's been trimmed out there, as you can perhaps see. I've also then taken a slice out from here, and I did that on the table saw. I first of all did a vertical cut there as a trenching cut, and then I did a long slice through there. There are two pieces here which are part of the support arrangement for the drill block, and the idea is that there would be a top and a bottom for all of this. I haven't cut it to width yet, but there would be a top and underneath a bottom. And at this stage, nothing is glued together. Now this piece was part of the piece that came out when I cut through there, so that was quite useful. And the purpose of this piece is to help make the space here a little bigger, and we're going to have a huge long pull-out drawer in which we'll keep all the Parf dogs and things like that. Right, I've done the initial bit of gluing. I've got that strip on there, and also I've attached these two pieces onto this part, and this is where the 20mm guide block is going in there, like so. Rather than using this for my construction work, I've actually got a distance piece here which I can use to fit in here whilst I'm doing the assembly. Now the gluing up is going to be slightly tricky in that I've got to do it up in stages in order to make sure that nothing is wiggly and everything is in the right place. I've actually turned everything round because I want to start with this piece, which is next to the space where the Parf sticks will go, and it'll be something like this. And in order to make sure that when I glue this on it's going to sit square, I've got this piece of wood which I'm going to put behind it, and that will help me not only get this piece following the edge as it should, but it'll also allow me to get it square. I've now removed this piece of wood and I've just cleaned up that glue line, and I'm just going to leave it to dry now. Right, I've turned things back the other way, and I'm now going to continue the rest of the gluing. It is actually getting slightly trickier now because we've got some fairly thin gaps between some of these pieces. And what I've done now is I've got some little spacers in here. This is where the Parf sticks will go, and that gap there is about 5.5mm. Now each Parf stick is 1.5mm thick, but I'm future-proofing this in case someone decides that they need to have a third Parf stick for some reason or another. Anyway, I thought I ought to put this on it, as it's a special box, of course. And do I tell you about my mistake? There we go, the Parf Guide System. That will be on the inside. We can see how this looks now. In this long, thin section here is where the two Parf sticks will go. This is where the guide block, the 20mm guide block will go. Now we're going to saw this off here, across there. So this will be a cap that comes on the end, and so the guide block will be fed in from this end once we've got the lid on. And this is the section where we're going to have a very long drawer. And it will have this top on it shortly, and once that's glued in place, then all I've got to do is make the drawer and do the cut at the end. But I've got one tiny bit of tidying up to do. I'm just going to put this through the miter saw, not all the way through, just to trim these three off and make sure they're absolutely in line. And the same at this end. I'm going to do a trenching cut which stops short of this piece here, and just tidy that up. Now the drawer is in here dry. There's no glue. It's just everything's loose at the moment, and there's not even a front on it. This will be the front. There'll be a magnet holding the drawer in place, which I've got to fit that at the moment. I keep reminding myself I've got to do it because it can't be done after the lid goes on. And to open the drawer, there'll be a little finger hole at the end up there, and that pulls the drawer out. And then there's some places for things to go. The 3mm pins are here, the 3mm drill guide is here. This is a removable piece which is designed to keep or protect the 20mm drill bit, and also as a place to put some 3mm drill bits. This has got a 10.5mm hole through there. I drilled a 10mm hole, and it was just a bit too snug on that shaft, and that will just fit in like so, and you'll just pull it out when you need to use it. And then fixed in here will be a couple of places for the various bench dogs and Parf dogs here, a little space at the end, and as a final end piece there. You can see that's just a simple piece with a hole in it. I think you can probably see how this was done. I clamped this piece on, drilled through, and then that's that piece done. Now I'm going to use a pair of magnets, which one will be fixed to the underside of the drawer and the other will be fixed inside the drawer opening. And they're these round disc type. I've got a whole bunch of them here. And if you get them the right way round, they will provide a sliding closing action. As one slides over the other, it will try and center itself. If you look, if I just move that off center, it wants to go back to center. It does its best to get back to center. So that's going to work. And these are 12mm in diameter, and I've got a 12mm Forstner bit I can use. But I need to work out where the center is going to go so that they match up. So this is, again, it's still dry fitted. I've got a pin chuck here and a very fine drill in there, and I'm going to drill a hole in the center where I want this to go. And that should be all the way through. Yep. And so it's there, so that's fine. All I've got to remember is I'm going to drill on this side. Tip when fitting these magnets: get the pair that you want, join together the way you want them, and put a little mark on the outer sides, so you then know which way around they go, so they do attract. I've just put the front on the drawer, and this has got a little hole in so that one pulls the drawer by putting one's finger through the hole, and so I've actually put a few screws there as well as gluing it. I'm just about to put the lid on the main box now. I've remembered that the magnet's there, something I kept on worrying about. Before I do put the lid on, we will be cutting this through here, and that allows this end to come away so one can get at the contents. And I've measured very, very carefully 102 millimeters in my case, from this end to where I want to do that cut, and that's to the left hand side of the saw blade. So I know where that is, and I can go ahead and do my gluing. Now one has to be careful, you don't want oodles of glue running down into the slot where the parf sticks are going to go, and similarly you don't want lots of glue running into the area where the drawer is going to be either. Right, there it is, the top's glued on. This drawer needs a little bit of easing, it's just a little bit tight. And I'm just now marking for that cut I've got to do at 102 millimeters from this end. And just a little bit of cleaning up to do, not much. Now, in order for these two pieces to line up when they go together, I want to use two little studs which will stick in here, and there'll be a corresponding hole in here, and the two will help line up. And also I want the magnet that's going to hold this in place to be absolutely precisely positioned. What I've done is I've made up a block, and it looks like this. It's smaller than the end section, and the way it works is as follows. The block would be positioned with one face here and one face there. And then I would drill through these holes. The bottom two are for the dowel. Now, and then when I want to do the other side, I use the other side of this. So one side's used for one and the other side's used for the other. But in order to make sure they're lined up properly, I need to have something on the two faces here. So this is how this fits together, and I can now use this here to drill holes in this piece, and use this here to drill holes in this piece. And there's that piece with its pair of magnets and the two holes here, and the dowels are in this position here, and that helps to ensure that when this goes on, it goes on in the right place and it stays there. Now, I think the only thing I would change if I were making another one is this plywood which I've used for this part here. It's fairly soft, it's quite light, and I thought that was a good idea at the time, but I'd use better quality or even solid wood, because when I came to drill out for these magnets, it just didn't look quite as tidy as I would like. Anyway, there we go. You learn, don't you? I put Osmo on it, of course. I forgot to say that, and that will protect it and keep it looking nice. If you need a copy of the plans, they're free of charge, but I must have your email address. So please let me know what your email address if you'd like a copy of the plans. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.